Hey, what's up? In this video we are going to go over how to get started building the Instagram app. So the first thing I want to mention actually is what version I'm using. I'm using Android version 25. If you don't know how to check your version, just go to Android Studio, go up to Tools, go to Android and SDK Manager, and you can see if we go to Android SDK, I have Android version 25 7.1.1 installed. So just so you know, that's what I'm going to be basing all of these videos off of. So if you don't have that installed, make sure you get the same version as me, just to prevent kind of minor discrepancies within the code. This first video, we're going to get started building the toolbars. I'm not sure how far I'm going to get, but we're going to get started sort of building these toolbars on the bottom and on the top. So we'll create a new project. I'm just going to call my Instagram clone. Go next, and I'm just going to do the minimum 18, which is fine. I'm just going to use an empty activity, and the activity name, I'm going to call it home activity. So make sure you rename that one and click finish. Alright, once Android Studio is done building the project, let's get started. Okay, let's go into Res and go layout and open up activity home. We can actually close home activity for now. We're going to be dealing with layout stuff for quite a while before we actually get to writing any code. And let's go into the manifest really quick, or not the manifest, sorry. Let's go into down to values, go to styles, and I want to change this to no action bar. So you can start typing no action bar. You can see this is the theme. So now if you'll notice, I'll go back to activity home, and that action bar is now gone. So if I change this to, I don't know, dark action bar, you can see if we open the preview, there's the action bar. If I change this to no action bar, we get our action bar disappearing, so it's gone now. And we'll just get rid of this text view. So the way that I'm going to do this is I'm gonna basically divide this up into 3 sections. The top section for the top toolbar, the middle section for fragments and or layouts, and then the bottom will be the navigation bar for navigating. Like if we look at the app itself, these are activities down at the bottom, so when we click on them, it'll change an activity. First thing I want to do is get rid of this constraint layout. I want to actually use coordinator layouts. And in order to use coordinator layouts, we need to get another dependency. So we'll go into our build.gradle file, and we're going to go down here, and we're going to type design library for coordinator layout and toolbars. So we'll go and open up a new Internet Explorer window. And I'm just going to show you where I get these things so that you know where to look for yourself. So you can just type Android support design library and go to the developer website, which is probably going to be the first one. So this is actually the library we want, and we can scroll down and it tells you all the different things that are available. Navigation drawer, these floating action buttons. It's also how you create app bars and toolbars and all those things. And bottom navigation views also. So we'll move that back over, and let's go into our build.gradle and stick that in there, and then we can sync. And I just want to note that actually yesterday they just released a new version. It used to be what was it, 25.1.0 I believe. Now they have 25.3.1. So if you are opening up an old app or something, or maybe carrying on from my old Instagram tutorial, you'll definitely have to change that. So just make sure you change that. I would suggest definitely redoing it from scratch, but if you're opening up an old app, just make a note of that. Okay, so now we should be able to change this to a coordinator layout. So there's our coordinator layout, and I'm going to encapsulate everything in a relative layout. Just do match parent and match parent. And now, like I said, I'm going to divide this up into 3 sections. So I'm going to make one more relative layout here, and I'm just going to do match parent and wrap content, and I'm going to give it an ID. So ID rel layout 1, since it's on the top. And I'll copy that, do the same thing, but I'm going to go relative layout 2, and I'm going to change this to match parent. And I'm not going to do a third one. I'm just going to actually stick the bottom navigation view right in here. I'm not going to use the relative layout because you don't need to. So I can put some comments here. I can just say top toolbar, and then maybe middle section, body, and then down here we'll have bottom navigation, just like that, just so you can kind of see it chopped up into pieces. Alright, so now let's create a new file. So go over to layout and right click, go to new, and You're going to want to copy the same way I name these. It's going to make it a lot easier for you when you're looking at all the files that we have to. So just rename it layout top tabs and hit enter. And so the reason I named it this is it's a layout file. It's going to be on the top of the screen, and it's going to contain tabs. So bear with me here. I'm going to explain all this in just a second. We're going to do something a little different than we usually do. I'm going to cut this XMLNS, just highlight that and cut it with Control X. And then I'm going to delete all this. I'm going to go merge and then paste that. And then we're going to go down here. Oops, got to close the merge tag. Now we're going to do another relative layout. And inside the relative layout, do layout weight width will be not layout weight. Width will be match. And the auto completion might not work inside of the merge, so just so you know about that. And then we're going to do layout height, and this is just going to be 50 dp because that's the height of the toolbar that I want to use. Grab that one, and the width is match parent, and then the height will be wrap content. And we can just use wrap content because we've already preset this height up here, so we know that it's going to contain the entire layout. And we need to give this an ID. I'm just going to call it tabs, and yeah, that should be good. So now we can actually stick this into our activity home. So we'll go back to activity home, and we're going to use the include tag here, and we'll do layout, and then reference the layout that we just made. So I just start typing at layout, and you can see at layout top tabs is right there. So we can click on that, close it. No, we don't want to close it that way. Just type slash and it will close. So now in this layout, it actually is including this toolbar. So it's pretty cool. Just keeps things much more organized. Now we're going to do something similar with the middle section. So I'm going to go up here and create a new layout file. I'm going to call it layout center view pager. So I'm keeping the same sort of naming convention here. Once again, like the last one I had layout top tabs, this one is going to be layout center view pager because inside of it is going to be a view pager. So we create that, and I'm just going to go to top tabs, and I'm going to copy this whole thing and then just make changes to it. So we're going to paste that in. We're going to delete the toolbar stuff. The relative layout is fine. We need that merge because we're merging it into something else. And then we just need to create our view pager. So view pager, and then match parent and match parent. And we just need to give this an ID. Go ID, and we're going to call it container. And this is what's going to be holding our tabs. Oh, we need to get rid of this align parent top, and also this 50 dp. We want this to be match parent because we want it to contain the entire layout. So if you've watched my tutorial on tabs, creating tabs, you'll know that we use a view pager to swap out the views. So that's why we're using this, and we're naming it container because it's going to contain all the fragments. It swaps out fragments. So now that we have that made, we can go back to our activity home, and I'm just going to copy the include and stick it in here, and change it to layout center view pager. And one thing you'll notice if you actually click on this text right here, you'll see that the layout is holding the entire thing. And we don't want that, right? Like we want the view pager below the toolbar. So we can just go into here and we can go below ID relative layout 1, and now the view pager will actually sit below that relative layout, which is exactly what we want. So that's good. Now all we need to do is add the bottom navigation section to our layout. So we'll create a new layout file, call it bottom, what am I going to call it? Layout bottom navigation. Layout bottom navigation view. Sure. So once again, keeping that same naming convention, we have layout, and then the position of it, and then what it's going to contain. It just helps to keep things more organized. So let's move it to the back here, and once again, we'll grab that entire layout, put that into there, and we're going to change this back to 50 dp because we're going to need it to be 50 dp again since it's going to be a toolbar, and we want to align parent to the bottom this time instead of the top. And then we need to get rid of this view pager, and we're going to call it bottom bottom navigation view. Alright, and we'll give this an ID. We'll call it bottom nav view bar, I guess. Bottom nav view bar, sure. And what else do we need? We're going to need to set the background, but we're not going to do that yet. And we're going to need to add a menu to it, but we'll get to that later. So let's just leave that there for now. Let's go to Activity Home, and once again, I'm going to copy the include, and I'm going to stick this down here and say Layout Bottom Navigation View. Okay, so that should be cool. This isn't going to show up on the layout because we don't have I could just change the color just so we can see it for now. So I'll go background at color, just change it to that. That way if we go to Activity Home, we can actually see that it's there at least. So that's good. And one last thing before I end this video is I'm actually going to run the app because you never know what's going to happen. You definitely always want to run the app more frequently than not frequently, just because all kinds of things can happen. You don't really know until you run it. So let's run it and just make sure everything's working correctly. Okay, so we have the app here, and it looks like we have toolbar on top, toolbar on the bottom, and we have that view in the middle all ready to go. So I'm going to stop the video here. In the next one, I'm probably going to start making them look a little better so that they, if I can open up the other one, so they start to look like this. They get white, they get a border on the bottom, this one's white with a border on top, and then adding these little icons. So I'll see you in the next video.